four catalysts for Bitcoin price appreciation in 2025. Number one, the strategic reserve. So the fact that the U.S. might do a strategic reserve and start hoarding Bitcoins, and sort of a follow-on to that is, what if other countries do a, kind of match us or maybe even preempt us with a strategic reserve? The second one is big corporates buying, like Amazon or Apple or Microsoft. The third one is just MicroStrategy, which, did this enormous buy in November. Just seems to have found real product market fit for its, stock and convertible debt offerings. And the fourth is the ETFs and kind of the rollout took place.
Krueger begins by the key drivers that could propel Bitcoin's price appreciation in 2025. One of the most intriguing developments discussed is the possibility of governments establishing strategic Bitcoin reserves. Krueger highlights statements from notable figures, including former President Donald Trump and Senator Cynthia Lummis, hinting at the United States' intention to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This move could entail reallocating existing Bitcoin holdings into a designated reserve, a step that might not require significant legislative hurdles but could be executed through executive orders.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
So let's take each one of them in turn. Let's start with the strategic reserve. So Trump has come out, and when I was in Nashville, we were in the same room with Trump. He came out and he basically told us, yes, you're getting a strategic reserve. Cynthia Lummis, Senator Lummis from Wyoming, also said, yes, you are getting a strategic reserve. And the question is, what does that mean? Well, I think at a minimum, it means that we've got something called a strategic reserve with some of the Bitcoins that we currently have, and we're just moving them over to that strategic reserve. I think that can be done with pretty high probability. I don't think it's going to ruffle too many feathers, and I think they can just executive order the thing into existence. Much more difficult is this Lummis proposal to start selling gold and buying the Bitcoin with it. I think we're going to be met with a lot of pushback from Democrats on that. We've already seen MSNBC come out on a smear campaign against Bitcoiners about, like, how dare you kind of try to sell our gold and buy Bitcoin with, whatever. But I personally think we probably are going to get the sort of light version of this. I would love if we could get the full Lummis version, but I think the odds are not better than 50-50 on that one. So I'm hopeful, but I don't think it's 60% as this poll would indicate. Second thing is we have big corporate buying. Well, we had Michael Saylor give a presentation to Microsoft. They voted. 99% of the shares voted in favor of not even studying whether we should put Bitcoin on the balance sheet. So, I think big corporates are not going to be this year going to be doing the MicroStrategy playbook. Companies like Riot or Marathon, these miners, sure, yeah. Smaller companies like Selmer Scientific, sure. But I don't think we're going to see massive, big corporate buying yet. It doesn't feel like that, at least right now. Now, we could be wrong, but that's where it is. Third thing is MicroStrategy. Well, MicroStrategy has been on a tear in terms of selling stock, selling convertible bonds, and really buying an enormous amount of Bitcoin, even more in November than the ETF spot. So, that's sort of number three. I think it's not going to be the main driver. I would say it's probably going to be the fourth one, which is the ETFs. Like the ETFs had a great year last year, but I continue to believe you ain't seen nothing yet. I mean, we are just in the first inning. Many of the firms that could be selling these ETFs aggressively, like Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, are still not on board the ETF train. The advisors are still not on board. This is really, and I'd say the retail investors are really just now that we have a new president-elect and that the 100,000 barrier has been breached. I think 2025 is all going to be about advisors and traditional finance investors adding Bitcoin to their portfolio.
These limitations highlight the need for innovative solutions to democratize Bitcoin investment. Products like MicroStrategy stock and the development of new financial instruments could play a crucial role in bridging these gaps. Fred Krueger's insights provide a compelling roadmap for understanding the factors that could propel Bitcoin's price in 2025. From the establishment of strategic reserves by governments to the growing influence of Bitcoin ETF, these catalysts illustrate the dynamic interplay of policy, corporate strategy, and financial innovation.
Okay, so I think you first of all have to look at it from different standpoints. Okay, so there's one audience. The main audience member for buying MicroStrategy are people who cannot buy Bitcoin, right?
Yep.
And who there's a whole bunch of people who can't buy Bitcoin or buy the Bitcoin ETF. Okay, I'll give you a couple examples. Yeah. So first of all, if you are in the UK, right, and you have your money in a pension fund,
yep,
that pension fund cannot buy by law these ETFs. Okay.
In the United States, so they can't get to BlackRock, anything in the United States. All those ETFs.
No, they can't buy. They can buy the BlackRock Spider Fund.
Yeah.
Right. They can't buy They can't buy IBIT. Okay.
Now, why is that? Is it just because it's illegal in Britain?
Yeah. Like, look. I mean, the thing we keep on forgetting is that these things were not. You couldn't buy them in America a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. So these things started trading on January 11th. They are not trading. They're not open to the rest of the world, yet. So first of all, there's entire countries where you just can't buy them. There's the equivalent of the British version of the SEC. I think it's called the FCA. Mm-hmm. They don't want people trading these things or owning these things. Okay.
Okay.
Second of all, you have people in the U.S. who can buy MSTR in their 401k.
Yep.
But they can't buy the ETF again. So there's U.S. people who can't do it, right? Then you have other people like convertible bond buyers. They can buy convertible bonds, but they can't buy equities, right?
So it's a charter issue. So you have two. So you basically have two issues. You have a jurisdictional issue where people in certain countries and certain jurisdictions cannot buy the Bitcoin ETFs that we have in the United States.
Right.
And then there's a charter issue where you have a fund which can only buy stocks or convertible notes, and that is your charter, and you can't you can't color outside those lines.
Right. And that's a huge, initially I didn't think that was going to be so huge, but it's actually pretty sizable. Right. So, it might be as big as half the market. Can't buy. Wow. Yeah. And on top of it, you have another part where you can do it. Like you're in the U.S. You could open a Charles Schwab account and do it. But unfortunately, you don't have a Schwab account. You have your money at Merrill Lynch. Okay. So now you have you could open another account, move all your money to Fidelity or Schwab, and then buy it there. But your money is at Merrill Lynch, or your money's at Vanguard, or your money is at Goldman Sachs or Morgan Stanley. And you now have, those particular banks, and they are banks, do not support that.
So it's a vendor issue. So that's the third issue.
That's the third issue, right? Yeah. So you have this vendor issue.
Yeah. So
let's just take for those people, they're in a different kind of potential, different spot than you or me. Because if Bitcoin goes up 5x over the next 2 years, right?
Yep.
They don't really completely care if they're paying a little bit more right now for it.
For the
because
premium.
they're gonna make a lot, right? Just by they're already bought into these people are already bought into the Bitcoin story. They love the Bitcoin story. They just can't participate in the Bitcoin story.
Right. So basically for them, the choice is because they can't get to the financial products in the United States for one reason or another, they want exposure to Bitcoin. They want to participate in what they believe will be a 5x or a 10x over, the next 5 or 10 years.
Right.
The only vehicle available to them is MicroStrategy right now.
Right. And
it sucks because they get chopped in half or a third of what they would have made if they own pure Bitcoin. But on the other hand, they get, what's the remainder of the 5 or 10x up, which is better than zero.
That tells you one thing. Now, there's something else that's happening, which is because of the math of if the thing is persistently trading at, let's just say, a 3x multiple, right?
Yep.
Well,
the thing you mean MicroStrategy.
Right. If MicroStrategy is trading at 3x multiple and issues shares at a 3x multiple, right? Let's not even get into bonds right now, but just issues shares, right?
Yep.
And then buys Bitcoin with those shares, with the proceeds, then in fact, they are going to be accruing more Bitcoin per share on their balance sheet.
As we move toward 2025, Bitcoin's narrative continues to evolve, fueled by increasing adoption and market maturity. Whether through government action, corporate participation, or the expansion of financial products, the potential for transformative growth is undeniable. For investors and enthusiasts alike, staying informed and prepared to navigate this ever-changing landscape will be key to capitalizing on Bitcoin's promising future.
Please like and subscribe my channel.